Hello and welcome. So today I'm in a place called Bakalarzewo, which is in northeastern Poland. From here to the Russian border, it's around 35 kilometers, more or less, something along those lines. It's a bit further to the Lithuanian border. If you want to get to the Lithuanian border, you can drive down this road here, which will take you to Suwałki. And just before you get into Suwałki, there's a ring road around it, and then you've got a motorway all the way to the border. It's a new motorway. I haven't even used it myself yet. And what is particularly interesting here for me, so I'm going to show you around some of the sites here from this high point. Now, Bakalarzewo was for many years on the border between Poland and Prussia, East Prussia, Germany. When I say Poland, it was obviously the Russian division as well, so a Russian-occupied Poland before the First World War. The border itself was Poland was on both sides of the Rozbuda River. The Rozbuda River is down there, just beyond that yellow fencing down there, so that the fencing's up there to protect the riverbank, and so the river's down there. Rozbuda is quite a small river, but it flows into this rather nice lake over there. And so in front of us here we have got a bunker. The bunker here was, I think, designed only as a protection. It may have been protection for those involved with what appears once to have been a gravel pit down here, and the gravel pit itself, the entrance to the gravel pit, would have been bang on the border. Now that's the border as I understand it from the maps that I have, and the thing is, the scale seems to indicate that the border was not on the Rozbuda River. So so the bottom end of the gravel pit would have been not in East Prussia at all. Now, I've done a separate video on this bunker, and one thing I will point out though, you can see the infrastructure around it. You've got a nice big parking space there if you want to visit it. You've got a parking space at the bottom which is actually hidden, a parking space which will take longer vehicles such as mine with no mine's 639 centimeters long, but if you've got a 9-meter motorhome or something, you can park it down there. You've got signs all over the place here, all over, not just for the military stuff but for other things as well. Now I'm going to come around here, and let's say if you can spot where there's a cupola over there, and there's several other fortifications. Let's bring the camera in. So that's 10 times magnification. Let's hope my hand doesn't shake too much. And they've got a cupola in the forest. Now, in 1939, when that cupola was put there, it wasn't as forested as it is now. So it was a clear line of fire, at least as far as the very nearby German border was concerned. In a cupola like that, you'd find 2 MG 34 machine guns, so you've got a range for something like that, an accurate range of about 1,500 meters, but they could even go through steel at ranges greater. I think the entire range of an MG34 something like 3.5 kilometers, but obviously that range is not going to be particularly accurate, but it would be enough to frighten you. The fortifications, I think that is the right word for something like that. You'd have a crew inside, maybe up to 16 men, 12, 16 men, something like that, on 2 or even 3 levels. And so it was built into the high ground, the entrance. There would have been 2 entrances plus a emergency exit, and behind the emergency exit, though, that would normally be filled with gravel or some grit or something like that. And to get out the emergency entrance, they'd have to open the door, releasing a security block, and then they'd have to allow all the grit and gravel to come in, and then they'd have to clamber through it. The point of that, of course, was to stop the opponent getting in through the emergency entrance. Anyway, I might be able to have a look at that later. I might be able to have a look at it. I don't know how open these places are, because I did mention the tourist infrastructure, and there you can see there's a sign. Here, I'll bring it in closer. There you go. There's a sign. You see these signs. The brown sign in most countries means it's an information sign, usually pointing to something of historical or natural interest, so it's of tourist information. Coming back around now, and so you've got mentioned the signs. You've got signs all over the place, and now we've got the church up there, and we've got the town, the village, I should say. Now, it was a border village on the 1st September 1939. It was the invasion of Poland, but here it was quiet initially. But to the south of here, there's a village which was called Royce and now called Ciemochy, and there was a Polish cavalry incursion on the 3rd of September. And there was a number of small incursions on the first 4 days of the war of Polish troops into East Prussia. And there was a lot of damage done, fighting in the town, houses destroyed. And as revenge, they attacked here, and on 3rd and 4th of September, and on the 8th, Bakalarzewo was destroyed. So that's the reason why today there's very little old houses. You don't get. Then it was largely made of wood, and so there's only 2 houses I've seen which appear to me to maybe 3 even, which appear to be intact from the dates prior to then. I mean, there've been others which clearly have been repaired, but not of wood. The church is, of course, pre-war. Now, so that's the town itself being a border town. Now, border towns, as a rule, are pretty wealthy because they benefit from the trade. And in a place like this, now I don't know what was being traded. I don't know what was cost more, for example, if we go back to the 19th century, what cost more in Russian Poland and what cost more in Germany. But as a general rule, I would suggest to you that manufactured items were probably cheaper in Germany, so they would see manufactured items going south, and you'd find, not so much south, that's more east really, and you'd find agricultural products or handmade products or things of the artisanal products coming the other way. I don't actually know. I'm just guessing there, but that's usually the case of what you find like this. Now, the beginning of the 19th century, Jews made up the overwhelming bulk of the population. That number of Jews in Bakalarzewo had fallen by the end of the 19th century. This is due to the gross racism that existed in the Russian Empire. And with Germany so close, why not clear off to somewhere else, such as America? The ports of Bremen and Hamburg beckoned, and you had a border right down there. Now, in theory, immigrants weren't supposed to use this border, but I wonder what the controls were like. I don't actually know. I did a video on emigration from Tsarist Russia, which, if I remember, I'll put a link to it, and you can actually see that. the Jewish population was expelled from here. I don't quite know how it happened, but I do know with the in the summer of 1939 the danger was really more and more obvious. In June of 39 there was even a patriotic demonstration in Bakalarzewo, anti-Nazi, which obviously wouldn't have done the people looking from here, it wouldn't have made them very happy. So people were, so Jewish people were well aware of the risk. I think what happened was that the population, those that were still here, were forced onto lorries or forced to leave and taken to Suwałki. From Suwałki, they were then deported to places such as Łuków and Międzyrzec Podlaski. You can see the videos that I did from these places, and I doubt that many of them actually would have been gassed at Treblinka. I think most of refugees of this nature would have died of starvation or starvation. What's the word? Starvation affected illnesses. Illnesses you get from starvation. This seems to be the case. This is very clear to me that the people who survived during the Holocaust the longest were those that were in their own homes, and not those that were moved. Oh, do you see what that lorry there is doing? Oh no, you can't do that. Well, he can and he can't, because okay, you can't cross on a double line, but the speed limit in town is 50 kilometers an hour. So if you get stuck behind something like that, you've got to stay behind it. Well, unless you can get past it at 50 kilometers an hour. Anyway, there's a bit of traffic information. I have to say, really, I mean, I insist on what a great place this is to visit. I mean, there's some other things as well. If you go straight down in front, you've got a very nice park with exercise equipment. Around the lake, it's got Jewish cemeteries roughly in that direction, but it's covered. It's in the trees. It's a really nice place though, because you got this wonderful view of the lake. I don't know how forested it was in before the war, and you got the lake over there, and you've got really nice trails running around it. It's been the infrastructure here for tourism and visiting is really good. Now, one of the things you often get in Poland is you don't get places to park. I mind you, I've had this complaint about lots of places, but here there's a superb infrastructure for tourists and visitors. Now, you can see the car coming down now. Well, it's gone a bit further, but at the top of that hill, you've and to our left-hand side, you've got the market square, which is you can see one old building there. It's now an alcohol shop. And you've got there the town hall and other buildings are there, but it's also very attractive, very nice fountain, more exercise equipment. It's the square itself is got trees on it. It's a very, very attractive place. Anyway, so as you can hear, I'm very positive towards Bakalarzewo. I've parked my vehicle on the other side of the village, so I'm out in the countryside, but on the far side. And I had originally planned on going down to the lake here, but Sunday I came here, 28 degrees, and the car park was full, understandably. But there really is a lot of parking here, so there's no problem there. If you ever get stuck for parking, there's two places you can nearly always park at, and one's the cemetery and the other one's the church. Little bit of advice from a traveller. Thanks for watching. I hope you found that interesting. I upload every day now, 8 o'clock my time, Central European time. I live in Poland and in Germany, so I travel around in my motorhome. If you're interested in 20th century history, particularly things related to the Second World War and the Holocaust, then this is the place to be. I've got my own research. I use archives. I use original sources. So you won't get the same thing constantly churned out. Well, it might be constantly churned out if people have done the proper research, but I'm not using other people's works for what I actually research, so I'm doing my own research, and so you might find something new on this channel. But at least as well, I'm showing you what these places look like today, and so you can see for yourself. You get real history on this channel, so this is the place to be. So every day I'm uploading, every single day. Now most days it's only a short video, but on Fridays I do a longer video, something like the length of this one, which is now nearly 16 minutes long. So that's what I do. Thanks for being with me, and now I'm going to walk up and see the other fortifications.